Okay, sound check. If we do get blacklisted for this puzzle, it's going to be one of the Opus Magnum events of all time. Setting up a splash image while people pile in. So I think I'm flying solo today. So un until someone else shows up, I'll be providing all the commentary. So the rationale behind this puzzle is simply that with the release of Day Ray Metallica, I I thought it would be appropriate to have a pure projection puzzle in reverse, and it should be a pure projection puzzle that has already been done. Creative Accounting, which has now been renamed to Reclaim Gold since it's been promoted to a journal puzzle, seemed like the best candidate for it. I also want I also wanted to do an RI puzzle, and this just seemed like a good one to have it there. Zorflack, if you would like to commentate, you can, but I'm also comfortable doing this alone. Anyway, rate rate instructions. The new players in general seem to seem to be happy about this because it was rate, and new players like rate. What I observed as an interesting quality of the response is that the new players basically were they didn't they didn't realize that rate instructions is different from rate cost and rate area. RI is a notoriously poorly behaved metric, but it's also a treat when you work with it. It has a character all on its own that we'll just have to see in the results. So and period area cycles. That metric was that metric is a replacement. Oh, hello. Hey, unfortunately, I think I'm echoing through. Hmm. Oh, we may have technical difficulties if Zorflax is going to be commenting. I don't know why. Well, I'm for a second there, I was hearing myself through you. Maybe you had the stream on. Okay, this is much better. Yeah. Okay, so I I gave the down low about RI, though I could have been more clear about it. It's one of those things you just have to see to believe. Period area cycles. This this metric was a replacement for one I ultimately decided against. Um, it was going to be mechanism area. If new players, if you don't know what mechanism area is, don't worry about it. It's giving the veterans flashbacks. I decided to be a little bit less memey about it, and that's when and I came up with period area on a bike ride one day and realized this is it. This is the one we're doing, and I think it went well. With that in mind, let's get this show on the road. Thank you. Um, Uh, yeah, that's it's because I'm capturing from a different source. Let me. I did not deafen myself in Discord. It's just that I'm capturing my audio from my microphone instead of from Discord for Linux reasons. Let me try to tweak this. I will figure something out. Yeah, for a second there, it seemed like we weren't going to have technical difficulties, and you can't do an OM stream without those. Maybe. Okay, Zorflag, could you say something? Maybe the
Uh,
my OBS will pick it up now.
can you hear me, chat? Oh no. Oh yes, I can yap.
All right.
Appreciate it, Kazan.
Okay. Show on the road for realsies now.
Oh, that's the first solve. Oh,
Yeah. Starting at number 50, as is becoming traditional for this tournament. And it's min rate 97 instructions. Apologies to everyone with triple digit instructions or just below it. I will give the usual disclaimer of I would love to give all of you the attention you deserve and discuss all of your approaches, but I don't have the time and energy to sit through 112 submitters. Now for rate, only 109 were had a rate, but you understand.
I don't think I would have had the energy, and people joke about how I have energy for it. So no, it was not happening.
Dark Brick in the chat with some quality heckling. Thank you. So this this solution is worth introducing the main problem with rate instructions for this puzzle. With with 5 inputs drawn, 5 gold atoms, you can make 3 output molecules. You have to ask yourself how exactly you're planning to do that. You need to split them up. Maybe you have multiple pipelines, put it all together. Like, how's this working? The bookworm comments that the hex arms make it a little hard to see what's going on. Um, in retrospect, it may have been a good idea to run this on the old version of the game with the reductive metallurgy mod that all the new content was based on, so that I can use a specific mod that allows arms to be hidden. Thankfully, I don't think that this is going to be a persistent issue for the rest of the stream as the instruction count gets lower. Uh, Rate instructions may remain incomprehensible, but for different reasons. We're going to drop an instruction, see what's going on. Spaghetti!
I don't recognize the name Joseph. That sounds like a newish player.
I think I think Joseph has submitted before in this tournament, but I'm not sure. The notes say, honestly, I kind of phoned this one in. I'm certain it's min rate since I grab as fast as possible and don't waste metallicity, but I'm equally certain it's very far from min instructions. It's on the mainstream, but it is 49th place, so we've got a ways to go. So, accurate read there, Joseph. So a common approach we're going to see is that dealing with the 5 inputs is just putting all 5 of them in different places and processing them individually. You have the budget to do that close to 100 instructions. If you'll notice, all 3 of the outputs per 10 cycles are coming from a different pipeline. Let's lose another instruction. So this is a different idea. Everything is going into the same pipeline. Look, all the outputs are spend some time on this hex, powered by this 3 hex arms on a track loop idea.
You know, funny is that people talking about period 10 in chat, and interestingly, there was an RI puzzle in the past that largely most of the solves operated at period 10 or a factor of, which was stabilized gold from the weeklies. And that was specifically a trackless RI puzzle. But I wonder how many people went and watched that stream as like homework for this puzzle.
We shall see. Another new idea in this solution. This glyph of purification right here. It's part of a device to convert all of this iron that comes into this glyph of rejection into quicksilver. This is the principle behind the DRM level Severio's transformer. There are no notes. Ooh, 3 less instructions. The notes say, better, non-5p. Rate's fun. Winning solve is going to be 5p, even though I don't know how you save instructions with a 5p solve. So, an arm on a track like this that slowly inches its way towards an intended destination. This happens in some RI solutions. Usually this atom is supposed to be a cardinal, but this is helping set up the glyph of purification motif that we saw on the previous solution. So this pipeline down here just makes 3/4 of the output, and this pipeline up here just provides the quicksilver. It's neat.
I suppose the broader idea of the arm with the plus instruction at the beginning is that RI it's not expensive instructions wise to set up a bunch of stuff, because like arm on track go burr, it can go as far as it wants and only 3 instructions. And so when instructions is your secondary in rate, you only really need to worry about how instruction intensive the steady state is, and you can modify what the like beginning conditions of that steady state is by setting up a bunch of initialization stuff with that one arm on track going burr. So it's an RI, it's a tech completely unique to RI, and it's kind of, it's either hilarious or cooked depending on who you ask, but it is very difficult. It takes a lot of skill up. It's good to see it in action already at 47th place.
Something I have said as shorthand for that idea before is you can teleport for 2 instructions. Thank you for the elaboration there, Sorflax, and thank you Jamu for submitting this. Okay. 1 fewer instruction. Not worth, huh?
Not worth.
The notes say, first time building anything RI. Pulled an all-nighter going into Sunday to finish this. Still doesn't really feel great, but it works, and that's half the challenge. I definitely spend too many instructions chasing Quicksilvers around, but I had no idea how to efficiently control my distance and speed other than a whole lot of trial and error, and this is the best I ended up with.
I have arrived.
Period.
Hello,
4.
Best.
I'm here to file my taxes. Am I in time?
Yep.
Yeah, you're supposed
As
to say
long as
no
you're
when
not
I'm
filing your
supposed to say-
taxes properly.
As long as I'm not okay, yeah, true. Oh god, I'm hearing myself on stream. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
It's the person from the appreciation stream. Yes, that is me. I am the person from the appreciation stream, as opposed to other person from the appreciation stream, also on stream with us today. I just finished showering. I got back home from work. Hello, everyone.
So here we can see what Amaranth was struggling with. The thing about big hex arms is that they can move atoms a long way, but if your solution is full of big hex arms, you often have trouble like making things go to the exact right hex. I explained that poorly, but it's easy for a big hex arm to swing your molecule to roughly the correct location, but sometimes you want it, but a lot of the times you want it to be in exactly the right location, so you need like a second hex arm to fix that, and that's why part of why Amaranth had to pull an all-nighter to get this to work. Also, peep this this track madness going on here. Also, this solution is period 4 rather than period 10 like previous solutions have been.
I'm noticing
And-
those crack loops are all 5 hexes exactly, so that tells me there's some like special odd one out shenanigans happening at the top.
Yes.
There's actually a lot of overlap between the two metrics. It's hard to come up with the filter function this week. Not that it matters for this stream, but it would matter for mine.
Okay. Secondary tie here. So this is an improvement on cost. The notes say, my hunch was that making this Quicksilver Iron Gold intermediary product should be pretty feasible at 3 halves P, at 5 cycle take loop, and spending 10 cycles to make 3 product. Not sure what that means. And converting it to the final output would be very simple. I'm sure there's more minor optimizations here that I missed, but I'm happy enough with just reaching sub 100. I experimented with a QSI QSS intermediary instead, but it didn't seem like it would go under 100. IDK, maybe there's more solution space in that direction. I think QSI QSS, that's 2 quicksilvers, an iron, and a silver. That hardly seems like an intermediary, that's just the product. I don't... Maybe I'm just not understanding the ideas here. Thank you for submitting, Rosa, though. This is a cool setup. Looks like there's just 2 pipelines going on.
Period 5 is fascinating, though, I gotta say. That's, I mean, I guess the way to think of it is half period 10.
Yeah. Deep arm, little arm 17 here. It does syrupy stuff. So
It's
with
so odd. I remember there was this one min rate stab water solve that Groomy made, and I think it was period 3. So it looks like absolute wizard magic trying to get period 5 stuff, like odd period min rate stuff to line up with each other.
Yeah. Each of the five golds has to be handled by its own arm. So that seems expensive on the initial draws, and then makes it up later. Very cool idea.
How many directions did the Quicksilver have to go? If it's like enough directions, it might as well just be worth it. Seems like they end up in 3 positions for this solution. 3 possible positions.
So I think there's just for the most part, there's just a Quicksilver that shows up here and a Quicksilver that shows up here. To the left of arm 24 and to the upper right of it. Then the other solid metals are bundled with those Quicksilvers, and for each of the pipelines, the gold gets rejected to create the other Quicksilver for its pipeline, but that's snapped on pretty quickly. So, meaningfully speaking, there are 2 places that Quicksilver goes, and then in those 2 places, the solution is the product is finished. This is cool stuff. Thank you, Rosa. Okay. Not a tertiary type drop this time. We drop an instruction.
Everybody's doing equilibrium art.
Blinding brick stew.
Oh no.
Kind of stuff.
What is that track shape?
Kind of stuff Minecraft mods have. Okay.
You don't even need.
The notes say.
I guess the brick parts you need, my ones. Yeah.
The notes say, if some solves are light magic, then rate instruction is the closest we're getting to black magic. My journey of trying to understand RI theory is akin to reading from a Necronomicon, flipping through the pages and understanding a fraction of the symbols and squiggles, chanting incantations from random pages. Suddenly, from the depths of the abyss, emerges this solution. The entire time, I didn't know what I was doing, but somehow it all worked out in the end. I can't help but feel this approach isn't the right way forward, but I'm in too deep already with no time to try anything else. Did get you onto the mainstream, so it's not bad.
Those were quality notes.
Well, bricking do be helpful. It's one of the easiest ways to get yourself down to min rate. Is to do a brick assembly line.
That's how
the
best Criterium solves did it, really, at the end of the day, because that math was too ugly to break down any other way.
Yeah.
Does that waste arm have a hot instruction? Or is it just... I think it's better if it didn't. Grab extend. Let's grab.
It does not.
I see.
Oh, minus instruction enjoyer. I didn't know love that when you ball.
Zorflex is pretty... Actually, no, there is no Zorflex on Shin. There's Z ...
Who is this mysterious Z person?
I can turn off the ellipses.
Make sure you
I
don't
don't
turn
mind
off
that.
Make sure you don't turn off streamer mode in general. Otherwise, everybody's gonna get Discord pings.
Whoa, Zorflex just joined the chat. Nice.
Whoa, Zorflex, when did you arrive? There's weird Z ... type before you got here. Where'd he go?
I replaced that bozo.
But to talk about the solution, there is this main pipeline that is one big brick, and this top pipeline that it steals a few gold to make another product. So 2 pipelines built by splitting this big old gold chunk, doing it period 4 style. Thank
I
you,
think
Love
the
Math
above
Boy.
one is the above one's a division pipeline. The bottom one is the everything else pipeline.
Real. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Uh, parser moment, so I'm
I
gonna
still
set
need to
this to
fix
play
that,
while I
but
fix it.
I'm busy coming up.
The parser itself is made of blinding stew.
Parser blinds Kazian's computer by causing segmentation faults.
Okay. Fewer instructions. No notes. Thank you, Avenge Ruler. Let's watch this go. So as we drop instructions, we will have fewer arms and it's going to be clearer to see what's happening. Because even though our eye has a whole bunch of weird tech and its own weird motifs, a fundamental principle of rate remains. Using less stuff is going to be better for your metrics.
Less arms means less instructions to place on those arms. Or
Yes.
less instruction in general. But spare no expense for hex arms. You don't need to reset them. Unless they do accidental grabs.
It's just a stylish assembly here. I like it.
A lot of people were saying in the Discord chat that their solve is just an RG solve but with hex arms. But you know what? Those do pretty good too. Those aren't bad either.
When do I arm one? I'm not gonna tinker. I'm looking at the first couple of arms resetting. There must be a reason, because this solve looks like it was trying to hex arm everything possible, so it's not. Probably right there, eh?
Yeah, so arm 1 can't
Oh,
be
yeah.
a hex arm for
Yeah.
a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
I'll move on. So tertiary improvement.
It sounds like a bricking solve.
Did you know passing sticks can move atoms quickly? Wow! The notes say, I tried making a version of this solve which extruded the iron as well, but it ended up being one instruction worse. Removing the passing arms required making the division handling more complicated, as it needed to be able to run without the rest of the machine in order to get everything to sync up. Period 4 seemed hard to make better than this, but I did at least try as well. This is a period 10 solution. And
They probably need period 4 for the other metric. Or no, it just isn't period 4.
yeah. This over here is what Serious Guy is talking about with moving big sticks. This is the method of getting iron where it needs to go.
It's grabbing 2 out of every 5 gold and converting those to iron, but the one that gets rejected into iron, its quicksilver is the bottom quicksilver.
This is very smooth. I like this idea.
This is cool pipelining.
Another tertiary drop.
Oh, lips don't stop. Oh wow, this looks so simple.
The notes say, the metal rate calculator is a dirty liar. Well, more like it's overeager. I opened up pig iron, saw its structure of getting 3 quicksilver and 3 iron from gold was familiar, but it didn't have the glyph of purification like tax fraud does, yet was able to achieve the same ratio. So you could just reject a gold down to iron to get a third one of those instead of dividing it, and using the setup required purification setup to extract all the quicksilver from one of the irons. Thus, I made a new layout, but the gains weren't as crazy as I was expecting. You take what you can get, though. So I'm not sure exactly what all that meant, but it seems like the metal rate calculator was recommending purification. You do not need purification to achieve minimum rate on this solution. So a cool thing about needing to output 3 times in 10 cycles is that you can do it with 3 rotations of the same hex arm. So even though the iron handling is a little bit complex, it even though the iron handling is a little bit complex, it unifies everything into one pipeline at the end, which is great.
You've just reminded me, I can't believe I haven't figured this out this whole time, but this puzzle has the same min rate as blue vitriol, which is why you're outputting 3 times in 10 cycles. That's hilarious. I didn't realize that this whole time.
True.
I'll be honest, I forgot how much blue vitriol had. 3.3 is very fast, though, honestly.
Okay, breaking out of the 88 pile up. The notes say, what do you mean income? We've owned this raw silver for 7 years and has merely appreciated in quantity due to the will of the market. There are many ways to almost improve this solution, but most are prevented by the length 3 swings of arms 9 and 14. But one somehow gets blocked by the output area overlapping arm 15's track. Here's arm 9. Here's 14. Arm 15 is this sneaky piston.
Wow, not a lot of atom movement here at all.
This area here, it looks really busy. Both of these are set up for a pivot. This one is not. It's not exactly clear how this logjam is going to be resolved, but then it is in one swing. So this is 2 pipelines, but they're kind of overlapping pipelines.
Yeah, they're all like, the swings are all offset by 1 hexes so as to allow the pipelines to coexist, basically.
Okay, with 1 for your instruction. There are no notes. So here's the main pipeline. The division is part of the main pipeline, which is interesting. In previous solutions, division has been in the side pipeline. Oh, okay. It's side pipeline. Iron comes from here. It's just here that iron. Okay, I see what's going on. I think.
What makes a pipeline a main pipeline, and what makes a pipeline a side pipeline?
The main one is
Oh.
outputting most of the silver. or most of the
Okay,
amalgam.
fair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
fair.
much.
That's there's probably more rigorous way to figure out which one should be called main or side, but that's just how I think about it when I do rate.
That's a pretty good way to think
Pipelines.
about it, yeah.
One thing that Blue Vitriol taught me is that defining a pipeline in the first place can get a bit messy if you have like 2 or 3 constantly weaving in and out of one another. It can just straight up get messy picking out which one is a pipeline at all or which one's a main or not. So it's purely subjective.
Check out Arm 5 here. It has one job of moving this quicksilver, but it has this other job of moving this iron, and
Mm.
I don't think this saves any instructions compared to using 2 different arms, but it does save tertiary and looks way smoother.
It does its 2 jobs and it does them damn well.
The notes say, "This was a complete rewrite of my first RI solve, which will be in Showcase, based on the idea of processing a brick of 10 gold. It took me quite a few hours just to get the division pipeline working, because stacking everything into one polymer reduced the period count between 5 bricks. In the end, it's only 6 instructions better, which doesn't really feel worth it."
I don't know, how many placements has 6 instructions been?
Look at this, like, complex chunk here.
It's hilarious that the brick grows over time thanks to rejection.
That
6 instructions have been 6 placements.
So 3 of this Hex Arms grabbers are working, which is very cool.
The thing about bricking like this is that the skill ceiling for this kind of bricking is stupidly high. Like, if you have the perfect brick and the perfect way to debond it and the perfect way to line every element of the brick up in the subsequent pipelines, like you could take this idea very, very far.
Might even see it later.
I'm just kind of stuck on how this polymer here looks like it belongs in a DRM journal page.
You know, it
Somebody
kind of
submit it.
does.
Yeah, one of those puzzles that gets like 1 burrito a month, and it's always a banger.
That remark is going to age very well, and I won't elaborate on why.
Oh boy.
Not the one a month, but that looks like it should be in a journal remark.
Which reflects us know what's coming up in the upcoming journal.
The notes say,
Colin 3.
"I focus on mainly reducing the amount of arms needed for the part that runs twice every period. I feel like there are probably quite a few instructions that could be shaved off, but I managed to get it down quite a bit from my original 132. I might be late for stream, so if I'm not in chat, would it be possible to DM me what place I got when my result comes up?"
Is Leah here? Doesn't sound like it. I'm not being her.
Yep. Ping 37th. There we go.
Nice. Interesting, we're projecting back up to silver.
Yep, whatever makes sense for your machine.
Hmm.
Because Because this area over here, it's just making iron, so so you can just swap a silver for an iron using the glyph of projection. That's a neat idea.
That's cool. That is one thing the DRM glyphs can do, and I'm glad this solve is kind of demonstrating it. That you can break down that what like 5 every 3 5 inputs to 3 outputs idea. That you can break it down in literally different ways to get the same result that is also optimal, but it gives you a wider solution space to explore and more room for creativity.
Executor rate.
The notes say, I tried for a long time to handle the stick with a free space eye arm, but couldn't get it. What Executor means by that is something like ARM 19 here.
The hell is the left doing?
Um, so I'm not entirely sure. Okay, I get it now. It's
There's a few grabs that it's missing that it's making use of.
it's grabbing enough gold. Okay, so this
It's a quick grab
area,
5. Yeah.
yeah, once enough gold is built up in this area, it can be processed in the second pipeline all at once. And
Yeah. So the broad idea here is that the 2 pipelines don't have to interact at all, because you're grabbing exactly 5 gold to make exactly 3 outputs, but that is your odd one out. But it doesn't have to interact with the main pipeline at all. So both are self-contained.
nice, Critelli. If you can't find a good spot for it, make a good spot for it.
That's small.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
So the
Wow, we
three
are so zoomed in.
the three
We
outputs.
didn't even zoom out.
Jesus, that's clean.
Yeah, you were saying, Kasia?
So this here, this motif in a previous solution would have been a hex arm rotating 3 times, but this track loop assembly allows the outputs to be done faster than once every 3 cycles, and then a lot of downtime is available. It's a bit expensive. It's instruction expensive, but there's so little stuff out here that that's an improvement anyway. I mean, it's not a small amount of stuff, but it's less than we've seen before. These solutions are getting surprisingly comprehensible.
Yeah, everything here is special cased, but like it's all just like this literally is only one pipeline, and it's not even a long pipeline.
This reminds me of ornamental plating, actually. Great solution, Daniel.
Clean.
Some people asking, is this min cycles? Some people being John. Was that min cycles?
Could be close.
Yeah.
The notes say, I had very little time this week, and most of that was spent on the other metric, so I'm sure this is woefully unoptimized. And it's 34th place. You did good. Get a fancy pivot here. So what ARM 10 is doing here, this does scream hurriedly put this together, found a motif that works surprisingly well. Because so like a weird thing that happens in Opus Magnum is that even though it's full of niche, hard to understand tech, uh, just doing something that intuitively works and is easy for you to do, like other ideas have to overcome the barrier of not being convenient. If you have convenient geometry, other solutions will have to like have more arms to put the atoms in place, or have to like move around glyphs or something. So this can just happen where you slap something together and still get 34th place.
There was one puzzle, I think it was called Brazen Cathode. It was a production puzzle, instructions, you know. And in second place was this solved by Genius 42, and it was so simple and so intuitive that almost no one beat it that week. Using bigger, cleverer, smarter ideas, because they were all just more inconvenient. And the idea was so simple and elegant that he nearly won the metric outright, were it not for Rebix being Rebix. But like, yeah, I like just simple, clean ideas have merit and will take you far. That's actually why the sum metric is so cool. But like, that idea turns up in most any metric, really.
The notes say, splitting the assembly doesn't seem efficient, but it came out better than my single round assembly regardless. So this quicksilver from this glyph of rejection does go to the two different multi-bonders. So this slide back and forth to get the hex arms to not crash. This is a part that like you solve your geometry woes just by spending a few extra instructions, even though veterans like me would be like very frowny facing at this. You can just move your arms out of the way. That is an underrated benefit of track.
It's also an underrated benefit of period 10, because period 10 gives you that one or two extra instructions to just move out of the way if need be. There was a bit of it in Blue Vitriol, I do remember.
Okay, this is a spiritual shampoo solution, so there are no notes and no title. So remember how I said RI solutions are going to gradually become less comprehensible? This is what I meant. So all of these arms are manipulating the structure of this brick as it advances. And only when the structure looks good enough will something finally be peeled off of the end. And just magically, what gets peeled off of the end is two basically complete products.
Is this our first slappy stick? I'm not sure how many times we're going to see slappy stick, but
I think it's the first one you could reasonably call slapstick. Yeah, this is the period for orthodoxy. This is what RI mains actually believe.
this is what RM mains demand your respect for.
It's very cool that this silver did not crash into anything while it was getting into place. Anyway, thank you, Spiritual Shampoo. 32nd place. Fringe, move on. Tertiary improvement here. The notes say, in principle, this can be 5/3 peed to save instructions. Let's see it, fellas. I think what Ryan is talking about is, in theory, a period 4 is viable.
I mean, period 4 is viable, but it's not necessarily going to be better than period 10 because, like, with the increased period length, you can do more stuff per arm and thus can, like, reduce arm count. So it's a game of trade-offs, really, which is why this is, like, nearly top 30.
Yeah. In a lot of rate instruction solutions, period 4 is the way to go. You need to have a reason to not use period 4, but it doesn't have to be that strong of a reason. This is not like some where you need to write a thesis on why you have a piston there. In rate instructions, it really can be. Yeah, I need to make three products per 5 inputs, so we're using a wacky period to make that happen. Thank you for submitting, Rynan.
Also, is this muted deliberately or not? I'm going to assume deliberately, unless proven otherwise.
Okay.
Three P10 using the correct nomenclature.
The notes say, P10 is the easy way to solve this, which probably means it's the wrong way. When I tried P4, I ended up with too many transport arms and got 80 instructions. I looked a bit at period 3, period 5, and period 6, but they didn't seem too promising. I probably gave up too early on 60 atom bricks.
I
60
believe
atom
this is still
bricks.
running. Solved.
Oh, what? Oh, what? Come on, come on. Okay, this is better.
Oh, yeah, your parser did that thing where it just doesn't delete the solve for reasons.
Heap arm 7.
Keep one arm. I know Calliresis expressed lack of confidence after the deadline hit, so I'm sure he was expecting to be around here in terms of placements.
Alright.
There are no notes.
Vermilion Dragon is such a cool sounding username, though.
I know, right?
Red dragon.
Yeah, Vermilion Dragon has been doing well this tournament.
Mm.
And here we see why. It is another hex arm for us. It just does it with significantly fewer hex arms than closer to 50th place. Vermilion Dragon just knows how to do geometry.
This is tracklets. Damn. Not bad.
Yeah, if you don't have tracks, you don't have to spend instructions moving on those tracks.
Words of wisdom from Kazian.
I love the Quicksilver that gets snuck into the main pipeline right before it outputs.
Yeah, right over here. Delivered by Arm 9 and then Arm 2. Thank you, Vermilion Dragon. Let's move on. So we are below 70.
Down to his
Wow, only 12
59.
arms?
Okay, Mr. Royal Spade, you're saying? Yeah. I was just looking through the solution list to see if Mr. Royal Spade's solution somehow got missed. It did not. I know where you are on this, Spade. Anyway.
I know who you are. I know where you are.
No notes. One big pipeline. All this track stuff, just setting it all up so that everything can be one big pipeline. Very cool.
Yeah, so this is like, this period 10 stuff. There are only 12 arms on screen, I believe. That is a nice low arm count because they're all busy and they're all doing good work, and that can be a powerful way to drop the instruction count. Just less arm.
What we're seeing is that there are a lot of viable ways to do RI.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool algorithms. I think this is just also just special casing everything and doing it quite well.
Yeah. You really can just individually handle all 5 of the inputs. Okay, 67 instructions.
Funny number.
Yeah. Does that still annoy Gen Z? Because if it does, I'm going to keep saying it. Anyway. Looks like there is a bit of struggle in figuring out how to merge the two pipelines, but it does get there in the end. Has some pretty efficient machinery to set it all up. And we see the return of the Severios transformer. Oh,
It's funny that the Severius transformer is an occasional motif in this puzzle. I would not have expected it, but yet here it is.
Yash is asking in chat, did I discuss why there's 12 outputs? The why is that creative accounting had 12 outputs, and this is a reverse of creative accounting.
But if it's reversed, surely you should be making how many? 24? No. No, wait, I can't now.
I'm not overthinking it.
That's 12 gold, which should be resulting optimally into I can't math.
The notes say, I don't have a lot of time this week. This is a terrible instruction count. This sucks. No tracks in this solution. And it just slaps everything together in a clean way. Not a whole lot of arms that are just fixing geometry. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the track in arm 10. That's the only one there. This looks like the only geometry fixing arm, but it's pretty cheap.
CrazyBot 26.
We have another tertiary drop.
Wow, the 6-7 pileup is actually happening. The 6-7 420G solve is on. Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
Notes say arm 10 is playing dodgeball. Yeah, it takes a slightly indirect path here. Because this looks like it could just be 3-track, but it can't because of collisions.
Yeah, it's the second movement in particular, the upwards movement, I think, that is the one that prevents collisions, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Track river. River detected.
Also, this is another... I'm really enjoying these special case solves. I did not expect these up here. This is cool.
Hmm. Lilia is saying there is only game sound when someone is talking, and
That's because we suppressed the noise suppressed the game. The audio, I think, is it?
yeah, that
Did
is
we noise
probably
suppress the
what
audio?
has happened.
Is it a Linux thing?
I think it's a noise suppression thing.
We could probably did we turn it on this stream?
I did turn on my noise suppression.
No, but like noise suppression on us and
I just have one audio capture, and it's the entire audio coming from my computer.
wait, why would that include you?
Okay,
Should
so
include you, right?
what Lilia is saying is that the game audio is not playing if nobody is talking, because and it seems like if nobody is talking, the noise suppression seems to think that the background music is just noise.
Wait, so what's your setup right now? What's your audio settings? Do you have a separate microphone and then everything else the computer outputs?
Yes, I have a separate microphone input for.
I agree with Rebix. I don't think we need to
Yeah.
mess with this.
Okay,
That's fair.
I'm sorry, Lilia. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Besides, I'm really tired of hashing out my audio woes anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No more 6-7.
People are saying it's
Oh.
probably nicer to just turn it off, though.
Okay, fine, I'll do that. The notes say, I keep thinking I could find a better layout than this, but it never happened. Totally expecting to see a low 50s or even high 40s. We have a prediction.
Is that our first prediction?
Everyone will remember that.
I don't know.
Is this another special casing? I think it is. Oh,
Got quite
yeah,
a
it
few
is. It's just
instructions on each
outputting
arm.
slightly differently. God, these special casing solves are so clean.
Unfortunately, RI doesn't necessarily mean clean. That when you optimize more.
It doesn't necessarily, but when it does, it's really cool.
Yeah, RG is more so where it always looks clean. Well, it looks clean. The instructions might be like horrendous, but
As I mentioned
Ooh,
in
that
chat
was
with some of the discussion of what rate instruction solves look like yesterday, RI does not always look like that, but it's the only one that ever looks like that.
there is a
I love
special
that one.
RI Valley of Despair.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
What's that odd one out pipeline? That's not. Ooh.
It's
Yeah.
dividing after. It's dividing something that's projected.
So it'll take a gold once every blue moon. No, it feeds one of the ions back into the division glyph. And the
Yeah,
other
it's
ion gets projected. Oh, that's funky.
It turns Quicksilver into iron. Someone said in the chat. Someone being Rebix.
That is style. Can we see how that gets set up again? Of course we can. Okay.
I like that it turns it specifically odd one outs two silvers, because two silvers does cleanly divide into the output.
Mm-hmm.
So it's arm 7 that sets this engine up with the halt instruction, which isn't an instruction. Yeah, that's going to be so confusing long term.
With the hot command.
Yeah.
Halt command is blinding stew. Yeah, it's like projecting so that it gets the perfect odd one out pipeline, which is two silvers, because it so easily turns into the output. That feedback loop with the projection and division is really wicked.
This is so cool. Thank you, Mr. Puzzle. So we have a complete tie here for 21st place.
At 515G.
I see purification.
The notes.
That's a. Sorry.
Yeah. The notes say, fun puzzle. I love that you can squeeze a final Quicksilver out of lead by combining it with the previous lead. That's some fun tech. This is a variation of my first working solve. I wasted a ton of time making a solve that only uses one pipeline, but it was surprisingly bad. That confused me initially, but I think I'm just not used to RI. The instructions are the same if they're on one arm or two, but by making a 2+1 pipeline, I don't need to do wanding regrab tech and can make each hex arm do more. I think that my top pipeline is pretty solid, but the bottom is noticeably rushed. I'm not sure what I could have done better, but there's no question that somehow I could have done better. This
So what I'm learning is that whenever a purification glyph appears in this metric, it means a Severius transformer is about to happen.
Yeah. So, Mr. Royal Spade, you did do well. As for what you could have done better, um, there are only
We don't find
20
out yet.
there are only 20 solutions that beat this out of over 100. So, it's great, but you will see the ways to do it.
Not just yet, though. This is 21st, and we don't have a 22nd.
Yep. Here's the other 21st place. Random name.
It's entirely different. What the fuck?
The notes say, I'm not honestly sure how good this one is in the slightest. I'm not terribly good at rate solves generally. Mine often end up looking more like I'm playing Factorio than Opus Magnum. So I'm content to at least have something that resembles the solves I see on leaderboards. With the noticeable exception of Critelium, where I'm pretty sure someone actually did just decide to play Factorio. Not really sure that's what I should be comparing to, though. Noticeably, this is several less instruction than Blue Vitriol RI, which is also rate 10 out of 3, 10 thirds, which has to count for something. It does. Yeah, the Critelium RI solution on the leaderboards is... I'm not sure
It's a Reddit
if I'm not sure if anything should be compared to that.
We joke about blinding stew, but Critelium RI was the biggest blinding stew metric of all time.
For reference, the current Critelium RI record is like half of the instructions of the solution that won when it was in the tournament.
It's less instructions than the solve on screen. It's like 58i.
Holy shit.
But yeah, thank you for submitting a random name. We can really see that there are so many approaches to RI, given how different yours is to Spade, and has the same score. I like this.
Severio Transformer is turning up so low, though.
One interesting variable. Oh, is it 65? Oh, did I pull 58 out of my ass? Oh, that's possible. It's interesting these going through all these solves and seeing how much projection was used, or how little, or not at all. That's an interesting variable that's popping up here.
The notes say, I spent quite a lot of time this week trying to get a Period 4 design off the ground, but nothing quite worked out. This solution is my fallback. I expect the winning instruction count to be less than 50. Only 11 arms. Some of them have a bunch of instructions on them, but only 11 arms, no, like, messing around with track. Very parsimonious geometry. Nice.
And it's not like special casing. We saw like special casing solved with like around this arm count, but here no. There are conditionally handled pieces of metal here. Well, that's a prediction from Robix. I think we might be hitting P10 limit.
We shall see. Lilia is asking what is special casing. So, in rate solutions, particularly RI, you may want to handle a whole bunch of atoms in the same way. A special case means that, like, say every fifth atom that comes out, you are doing something different with it because you have like an arm on a track that is 5 long and advances 1 every period. Zorflex is referring to the special casing solutions. Um, what Zorflex is referring to are the solutions that every individual gold atom in each set of 5 is being handled in its own special way. Anyway, this solution has no notes. It is so we have a hex arm that turns 3 times in 10 cycles, one pipeline, only 11 arms again. It's the same number of instructions, just a different style.
Arm 11's getting paid by the hour.
It has one job, which is to take care of a Quicksilver that's not supposed to be there. Okay. Tertiary drop by Wishpush.
Another 63 ISO. That's insane.
Yeah.
Oops.
I wonder what
off
about
63
if there's
eye.
anything about the number 63 that like, well, this is like getting close to min number or a natural stopping point, or if it's just a massive coincidence.
This is similar to the previous solution that has one main. It just has one pipeline. Doing this in a way that is instruction equivalent, but I guess it has fewer hex arms or less track because it's the same number of arms. I'm not
Arm
gonna.
10's got a wicked swing happening, by the way.
Yeah.
Right at the end for it outputs.
Let me see that slower. Yep. It's close.
That's the good stuff.
Calureese is asking why is arm 6 not a hex arm? Which one's arm 6?
I can't even say arm 6. Which one's arm 6? Oh, the track. Oh, the one on the track. Okay.
Oof,
Oh,
there is
yeah,
no
that's a
reason
good
for it not to
call.
be a hex arm.
Good call. This didn't have to be a 63.
Yep. And unfortunately, that would have mattered.
$62i and way much more cost.
Okay. Classic, very long RI track. Yeah, okay, it's arm 20. The notes say, it would be so funny if I miscalculated rate because I am not familiar with DRM glyphs. This solve is very bad just by comparing it with Tritelium RI, but I did not have time for more. I think it is possible to save at least 6i from this solve by removing the arms whose sole purpose is to bring the finished outputs together. I mean, removing arms does improve your solution, but geometry do be geometry.
The RM rate is actually easier as long as you don't have what is its name? Proliferation and purification.
This is a unique design.
Now there's purification here though. What? How are we still getting Severio Transformers?
I
Also, we
think that
got
was
the
partly related to Sergi D's admission to fumbling the second half, having there's a lot of like back half surgery to get it all working.
So,
that long track is a very prominent RI feature.
so imagine trying to solve this puzzle and saying, yes, I think at some point it makes sense to create a C shape of 10 atoms. And, like, it does work.
Oh, no,
Circuit
you
D
killed
is way up here.
Zorglax. Main pipeline is 15i. Ah, that's what saves it.
No, the main pipeline's like absolute gold.
Yeah, no kidding. Thank you for submitting, Sergi D. This is very creative. Gonna take a drop.
Oh,
Okay. So, like, this solution has notes, but it's one of those super meta ones that have been done a few times, and if I read the notes, it's going to be very confusing for everyone on stream and everyone looking back for it. But, okay, you know what? I'm just going to post the notes in chat.
oh, I'm scared.
Okay, Darkbreak, your notes are posted in chat for posterity. Anyway, as for the solution, it just does all this without very many arms, and they're not even like cramped with instructions like some solutions were. Um, Also seeing something in the Discord chat. If you missed the beginning of the stream, what was the stat line of number 50? Minimum rate 97 instructions, if I recall correctly.
One pretty cool motif I'm seeing, not just Dark Brick, but a few others have done it, is this bit towards the top where two gold are just strapped together at the very beginning and remain conjoined for the entire ride as they are progressively demoted.
Yeah, it's a pretty good motif.
Mm.
Okay, moving right along.
Goodbye, Galaxy. He is
I think
beating
with
his
that
rival
pile
so
up, Goodbye
far.
Galaxy would be pleasantly surprised to be landing 15th place.
The notes say, coming up next, the actually good solves. Yeah, we're in the actually good solves. We've kind of been there since, like, 30th place. This is... Like I say, we have a lot of submitters.
Goodbye, Galaxy says this
Whoops.
is not his solve, this is the previous solve.
Come on. Come on. Okay. Here we go. This looks different.
got the 2 bonded gold again though.
It is a good motif.
Bonded Quicksilver, interestingly.
Hmm. When the Quicksilver is debonded, a really cool double swing happens that doesn't collide with anything.
I like Arm 8 here. It's fixing the geometry and allowing projection to happen at the same time. Not that much to talk about because it just works. Goodbye,
This isn't it just works solve.
Goodbye Galaxy is good at that. Some main, after all. Tertiary drop here. Significant one.
Whoa, that's small. Jesus.
Oh,
9 arms? 10 arms.
Saves all that tertiary by doing one pipeline.
Wow.
Same amount of instructions because of all the track loops and stuff. Yeah, this is impressive.
Ooh, that's cool.
It's very neat how this gold that gets demoted just slides in where other iron was. I like it.
But only 10 arms. That's like, that must be the lowest arm count so far. Because all the arms have like really good, like, there's a clean division of labor here. Like with arm 7, grabbing iron from the division and from the track loop to output. Arm 6 rotating so that the geometry lines up perfectly. Oh, all the glyphs are exactly where they need to be. God, this is nice to look at.
There could be a lot of min rate burritos based off of this.
This is like an anti-Cuckoo 52 solve.
Thank you,
He would be the first
Cuckoo52.
guy you'd expect to do the track initialization monster setup crap.
Leave it to Cuckoo52 to do the puzzle in a different way. Anyway, sub 60, let's go.
damn, a drop of 2 instructions? Holy. Drops are crazy here.
Whoa. It's a forest.
The notes say, in a perfect world, 54 instructions is possible. Didn't think I could do 69, so I'm very happy with this.
Okay, this also has 10 arms, if I'm not mistaken.
See? Yep, it's just 10. So, similar one pipeline-ish thing. There's this, like, Quicksilver storage bank over here.
Arm 5 is the key to it all actually working because the Quicksilver is all rejected in different selectively placed spots, all one rotation away from the multi-bonder. There is arm 6, I believe, it's buried under the wheel arm that bonds Quicksilver from 2 different directions, and it's really cool that that geometry works.
I'm in
On
bonded.
double duty to save arm count and thus instructions.
Is min bonder glyphs. There's just one tri-bonder in the middle there.
It still only counts as one.
Only counts as one.
That's clean. That's very clean.
Note say, I assume this is min primary given those minimal conditions. I am pulling input at the maximum possible speed, there is no waste, and there is no metallicity lost. The solve loops. This week's puzzle really was what to do with the waste in both metrics, huh? For this, I really had to juice up all that tin for its quicksilver. I was considering a 5 inputs, 3 outputs kind of solve, and the idea that it might yield even smaller instruction counts, but I just couldn't conceptualize how it would work. Oh well. I did a pseudo 4-arm plus waste management approach since I found it much more apprehensible. I think this was supposed to be approachable. Though the fact that waste has to be handled in 5 taped loops was really fucky. Many times I was like, why can't it have been 6 or even 4, since those could have worked much better with hex arms, or solves it looped in 2 tape loops. But yeah, happy that I only have 5 arms on tracks and the rest are hex arms. Also, that only 4 arms have 4 instruction and the rest are 3 instruction must mean that this is pretty decent. I needed the arms on tracks to do corrections timings to fit the 5 tape loop cadence. Also, arm 8 and 17 are multitasking, which I am proud of. Also, arm 17 does some funky moves.
So I've been peeping a couple of top players drop a couple of hints that maybe it goes beyond what period 10 can accomplish, and I'm wondering if we're about to say goodbye to period 10 and move on to what appears to be the period 4 part of the I'm struggling to find the word here, of the solves. I don't know.
We shall see.
But it allows for a lot more harms because why lot instruction when few instruction do trick? '50th place was 97 instructions.
Okay. Tertiary drop.
Ooh, Haxton.
Period 4. I like this set of 4 arms here. It puts together most of an output, and then arm 5 just has to swoosh in with a quicksilver, and it can output. And the rest of the rest of the machine is dealing with how do you convert one iron into an amalgam, and apparently that involves a Spherios transformer.
Interesting. The Severius Transformer has made a triumphant return here in period 4, of all places.
You know, when I made this puzzle, I wasn't expecting the glyph of projection to be used very much. But it is.
I mean, period. Yeah, I wouldn't have called it either. Well, I wouldn't have called purification either.
The notes say ugly 3/5 equals 1/2 plus 1/10. 1/2 is just every 4 pipeline, very comfy, currently has 20 instructions. That's what I meant by these 5 arms. 1 out of 10 can be much more elegant, I feel. And that's the odd one
Right,
out.
the first 4 arms, the arm 1, 2, 3, 4 combo at the input is a combo I like a lot.
Yeah. Let's move on to the top 10. 9 arms.
Period 10? Period 10. Okay, period 10's not out of the woods just yet.
The
Period 4's
notes
not out of the woods just yet.
the notes say, "This is my proudest achievement yet. I burned through many, many layouts trying to find the one with the synergy of all hex arms. For me, this was extremely hard to find. I had many close calls and found the final 59i to 57i improvement at 1 a.m. after about 20 hours of working with this metric. The only thing that stinks is Arm 6 existing, not even being a hex arm. In another world, both products of the Glypha division go on hex arm 7, potentially getting 53i. However, geometry denied me from entering that world. I'm sure there is some tech I missed, but this should be a pretty good, sane solution." And this is a very, very good solution. Top 10.
This is also one of the sane solutions. This, the hard work poured into this solve, like, it shows. Like, it has paid off. Big time. Very well deserved top 10 finish.
Congratulations, Video Cake.
Those giant hex arms in both directions, by the way, feeding back into glyphs of bonding and division. So it all comes together and centers around arm 7, which outputs everything at the end.
This is wonderful.
Mm.
Period 10.
This is some elite routing and pipelining geometry.
We're going to remove an instruction. We're still at period 10.
Nice, nice. Still at 9 arms. So this and the previous solve had 9 arms. So the arm count continues to drop at period 10. Ah, the bonding motif spotted.
The notes say, "It seems that besides the period metric, we also have period 3 at home this week. Would fractional product per tape approach be better? We'll see." If
I like this version of the bonding motif because it specifically bonds copper to a pre-existing iron. The iron doesn't have to be messed with at all, so it can just be like the arm that you grab, while the gold gets demoted once, and all 3 of those atoms get added to a pre-existing quicksilver. So you basically only have to worry about that pre-existing quicksilver, which is the gold that you demote to iron in the first place, that ends up bonding with the other gold later, which is really nice. Oh, it all comes together. This is, everything's matched up very nicely here. It all comes together quite elegantly. How's your voice holding up, Kazian?
mostly pretty well. I think I need to go to a doctor for why I still have this irritation in the back of my throat, and it's been there for like 3 weeks. But
Oh,
whatever.
is it an itchy throat?
It's
Those are the worst.
Yeah.
well, it's only flared up because I've been talking for the whole stream, but yeah.
Oh, sorry, this is Winter Solve again.
Okay. Is this the right one?
Yeah, no, this looks good. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. The notes say, "I spent 10 hours building a gargantuan P6 rate machine using every technique from Crytelium, then threw together this afterwards. It's possible a P3 rate monster would do better than this, but I found drawing input at min rate at P3 to be troublesome." Yeah, no kidding.
Also, the arm count has dropped again. We're down to 8 for period 10.
It seems like the motif for these top solutions is just that using fewer glyphs in addition to fewer arms. It just works.
Got arm 6 dodging swings on both ends of that swing is pretty elite. Because it has to wait an extra cycle on that swing space as well, and it still gets out of the way in time. Oh,
This is a treat. Thank you, a tertiary tie. Okay, we're going to continue sliding down the instruction slope.
cool. Not great, not terrible. I'm pretty sure it's great.
Is Jarecki a new submitter to the tournament?
I think
I think
so.
I've seen them in the previous weeks.
The notes say
But it's a new
that was
submitter
the last improvement I can even envision at this point. Pretty happy with the result and learned a lot about fractional p-values. So this is period 5, which is an interesting choice.
Ooh.
And
Yeah,
what a
Jarecki
choice.
submitted for week 3.
So at period 5, you have to individually handle all the gold atoms. But wow, is it done? Is it done
Period 5.
very well? Because
So yeah. Sorry, you go.
with period 5, if you have a slight geometry problem, no, you don't, because you get a track movement in addition to your arm rotating.
Yeah, period 5 is also, I think we did mention this the last time the period 5 solve turned up way back, but it's been a while. But you special case all your inputs. So all the goal, so it's kind of like you're front loading a lot of your instructions. So the bit at the left looks a bit instruction intensive. There's like 5 different arms that have to grab. But you can see there's more arms surrounding the input than like the entire output, really. It's like a Faustian bargain.
Yosh is asking how this Quicksilver appears. It looks like it's there to just fix a bad input at the start before steady state. Because this, at this point, is a...
So that should be iron, basically.
Yeah. And the reason that happens is because normally Arm 4 would be taking this silver off so tube rejection can happen, but it's not. But Arm 4 has to wait a bit because this pipeline is not ready. So the first output that comes through this pipeline is just insufficiently rejected. Thankfully, there is a spot where you can just put an extra glyph of rejection, and it's one use because this Quicksilver never leaves it, so this glyph can never fire again.
It's hilarious that it's a problem that you can fix without using a single instruction. That's pretty hilarious.
Yes. Jarecki says aligning the pipelines would cost 2 more instructions. Jarecki understands the assignment.
Hmm.
A tertiary drop.
What period? Period 5 again. No, wait, same solve.
Come on. So this is
Period
different.
5 again.
Yeah.
Oh, there are some funky track loops happening. Whoa.
Everyone talking about period 4. No, it's period 5 time.
Period five's for sorry, period four's for goobers. It's period 5 time.
Well, I mean, when you're pulling 5 inputs to 3 outputs, period 5 makes sense.
This is so busy.
That's intense. It's also surrounding the input again, because that's kind of the deal you have to make with period 5. You need an intense input, but yeah, it's like the output is a lot more nicely handled. It's funny this solve got the previous solve on tertiary.
The notes say, great, now I'll need a lawyer. I made some comparisons between designs using period 5 like this one and ones using period 10, which seems like the natural one for rate at 10/3. After some back and forth between which of them I managed to get lower instructions with, I kind of just settled for period 5 based on a hunch and some coolness bias, and spent all my remaining time optimizing without really knowing for sure that it can go lower than a well-optimized period 10. If my hunch was right, then this one should be quite tricky to beat. My best placement so far was rank 8, so I'm crossing my fingers for top 7 for this one. Fun fact, 46% of the instructions are used by my arms pulling the input. Well, congratulations, Shino, you beat that rank 8.
Now, the input pulling arms use almost as many instructions as the entire rest of the machine put together. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it seems like there might be a hard floor for period 5, though.
That might be true. That might be true.
Let's keep going.
It's so good for the rest of your pipeline, though. Like, all right, what's the period? 4. Okay.
There are no notes. Okay, so I think ARM 9 is kind of RI madness, because this is a characteristic waste handling method.
Oh no.
But the rest of this...
That's just waste. Oh. Blinding stew.
Oh boy. John. What?
John, what have you done?
Though to be fair, initialization waste isn't that out of the ordinary, but it is a waste of 2 instructions, unfortunately. If you can avoid it.
So this one's a little harder to parse than previous solutions, but man is it good. It's so good.
I felt that way about the last period 4 solve. I think it was Haxton, and it just like got way harder to pass out of nowhere. It was eventually passable, but this does, interestingly, it does the bonding motif, but it does take like that arm 7 at the top just like siphons away a couple of them, which ends up becoming bonded ions, which gets projected back up as opposed to the main pipeline where it gets rejected down. And some of that quicksilver is used to bond to the output, and some of it is used to project back that ion pair back up.
Yeah, this is a variation of an RI technique that I call doling. When you have you create a steady stream of stuff, like what ARM 1 has here is pairs of gold atoms, and those a pair of gold atoms does not cleanly create an output, but what you can do is occasionally swipe one and divide its stuff out to the rest of them that haven't been swiped. Now this is a variation of the technique because like the swiped gold atoms are like eventually use to create an output on their own, but that's a general idea behind doling. If you have like a steady stream of bricks of like four atoms, you can like swipe a brick and then give it atoms back to the other bricks to like get clumps of 5 or whatever.
What particularly impresses me is how all the Quicksilver is all perfectly matched up and paired and has a place it needs to be. And it's all there, like, in time. Like, it's all sequenced perfectly in sync. And that's why Period 4 feels like black magic compared to the other periods in particular. Because of all that routing that looks impossible because you're using Period 4 arms, but happens anyway.
John is very good at this.
Swiping, no swiping. "50 instructions." Oh, does it go below 50?
The notes
Period 10. Let's go.
the notes
Let's
say,
go.
I imagine the good solves will be period 4, but at least this is a min rate solve. Are the good solves in the room with us right now? Come on.
Good solves are can't. Good solves are not real, and they can't hurt you.
Okay, arm 7 here. This reminds me of Goodbye Galaxy's pivot arm. Oh, and period 10, by the way.
Period 10. The arm count actually went up from the last period 10 solve. We're back up to 9 arms, but
They're
a
a
couple
lot
of
more
these arms
empty,
are
I
very
guess.
instruction shape. Arm 6
yeah.
does like one thing.
6, 8, and 9. They
So
all do one
actually, this
thing.
reminds me of the 10th place solve by Video Cake, which went to great pains to get this double hex arm rotating, like giant hex arms rotating in opposite directions to get the pipeline matching back up here. Except this solve is very different about how the way it outputs. It just outputs from 2 different directions, and that direction is almost exactly where the fucking input is. Hilarious. The right part of this machine is just so instruction cheap. That is ridiculously cheap way to do it.
Bonded gold is OP.
You kind of just take the gold away on the hex arm, and by the time it gets back, it's an entire output. Like, how does that work?
It's insane because it just siphons off a couple of extra quicksilver at the very end, and that is the extra quicksilver you need to make the iron pipeline work. Shout out to Arm 7 for making that in iron pipeline work, by the way. Single mom who works 3 jobs, Arm.
Thank you for this, Spect. This is so cool.
Ridiculously good solve.
Okay. Let's take a drop.
Oh no. This is the drop Biggie was talking about, wasn't it?
No, it's 3i.
Oh. Well, maybe.
A drop in rate. Yes.
True. Period 10. Let's go.
It's the period 10 power.
The notes say only arms 2, 3, and 8 are real hex arms. Under period 10, many tasks are still only done once per tape loop, so multitasking doesn't necessarily beat having separate arms doing each once.
This routing's completely different from Spect. So I did highlight this earlier. Bonding a gold atom to the iron atom is quite powerful because you just reject the gold once and you got one of your quicksilvers. So you only need 1 quicksilver from another place, and that other place comes from bonded silver. Bonded silver is also a great idea because you can just reject one of the silvers twice, and that's also an output.
Just having chunks of bonded metal together, you can pretty much always figure out a way to make it work in the end.
Yeah, because you really only have to figure out where the quicksilver goes, and that's the only thing you have to figure out.
Looks so good.
This is the true power of the bonded motif.
Yeah. So nice, so clean. It's a shame we have to take another drop.
Wow, a big drop of 4 instructions this time. Wow.
Well, you combine this with the previous drop, and 7 suddenly looks. Whoa, okay.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Oh yeah. This is alright. This is
Sorry
alright,
about this one,
everyone.
guys. Uh, blinding stew. This is so intensely funny because the previous solve was just like this elegant cleanliness.
To be
We
fair, that
just went
entire
straight to
that
fucking
thing, if
blinding
you remove
stew.
all the track and like just replace it with the
Oh
if
god,
you
that
remove all
it's
the
not
track,
even
it's still
close to
pretty
the end of the
clean.
track. It's gonna take so
It's
long.
not. No. But this is the reason it does this is because it's one extra instruction, the plus instruction, to do any amount of setup you want.
Yeah, so wandering hex arm. This hex arm is eventually going to like actually be functioning as a regular hex arm, but you can want but like this said, you can make it wander for one extra instruction. So it's just like setting up a bunch of stuff before it goes in to do its actual job.
And what is setting up is wanting arms so that arms don't have to use the drop instruction.
Oh,
Slappy stick.
oh, and he's sticking. Good lord.
This was
This is
first
what
place for the
RI
longest
mains
time.
demand your respect for.
This was first place for the longest time. And then Biggie submitted.
I
Doesn't
think
even
I'm still taking mental damage from the whiplash from Ebonov Solve to this one.
doesn't even have the decency to have notes to explain any of this. Well,
The solution speaks for itself. Solve.
by the way, glyph of division uses disposal.
Oh, why is there a purification is also used as disposal? Oh,
They're there because there's some setup to the top slappy stick that's needed. But the setup in the top slappy stick has atoms that aren't in the product, so they're just disposed of. The slappy sticks
different
need some
metal
extra
glyphs
atoms
they're
of
disposed
setup,
of. That's
so they can
insane.
start slappy sticking. It's so that it can start slappy sticking. You need like fodder, and that's where the fodder ends up. You can see there's actually more fodder. You can see the debonder used as disposal as well.
Wait, so Robix has used 3 different glyphs as disposal glyphs, and none of them are the disposal glyph.
At the cost of 0 instructions too, because those other 2 arms were doing something anyways.
I'm
Those 2
trying to
arms there
hate
were
this
doing
solve.
something.
I'm trying to hate this solve, but it's just so funny.
Yeah, There are some RI solutions that are refuge in Audacity.
Oh, the bottom slappy stick just makes so much sense now when you see it bonding with itself after the rotation, because it just suddenly you have the exact output. Oh. This actually does take advantage of the bonding motif at the top slappy stick. Gold copper is a metal combo we hadn't seen yet, I think, in the bonding motif, because you just demote both metals once, and that's both just the quicksilver, and just cleanly move maps onto a multi-bonder, and that also just cleanly outputs.
Gold copper is something we'll see a lot in the other metric.
Getting that top slappy stick working in the first place is madness too.
I could
Oh, yeah,
watch
that's
this
what
and
the
listen.
entire
And
Arm 1 journey did. It's getting the top slappy stick working.
I
Well,
could
I mean, half
listen
of
to
it was
this and
getting the
watch this all
bottom
day.
slappy stick working.
So, as amazing as this is, we do have another solution we need to show before we go on to the next metric.
At a drop of 7 instructions.
Yeah, let's take a real drop now.
Boy,
The first
that's a big
real
boy
drop of the week.
Oh, I'm so scared. Oh,
It's period
Hang on.
5.
period
It-
5.
It looks normal.
No, hang on. Okay, I was expecting more blinding stew. Hang on.
The notes say, so there I was, working on a period 4 solution. I had resolved not to make a Severios transformer, and had worked out the implication that I had to divide exactly 1/5 of the metal. I was never going to submit to the call of period 10. That is not how you win an RI puzzle. So what's a girl to do? Get high and build a period 5 machine, that's what. No, there are no
You
optimized
built this
RI.
so high?
No, there are no optimized RI records on leaderboard which have odd periods. It's not the done thing. But with the one single atom input speed is not any more instruction intensive than it would be at period 10. We directly solve the division ratio, and we get the same number of pipelines as period 4, with more lenient grab timings. I didn't make any solutions at period 4, but I calculated them to land somewhere in the mid to high 30s if I gutted them out, and would be way more expensive. I figured I'd just optimize this down as low as I could and ship it. Win or lose, it's really fucking nifty. And boy howdy was it win.
It wasn't even close.
Crazy about saying we need to start drug testing.
Oh,
The
that's
blinding stew
hilarious.
with drugs. This makes sense.
No, I mean, it's so cool. All right, so we joked earlier about like maybe period 5's floor is just the winning solve. I think someone said that in chat earlier, and that was absolutely exactly what happened. All right, so funnily enough, I remember the last period 5 solve we looked at had this insane fucking track loop action happening around the input just to get it all grabbed in time. This solve just like, yeah, it's 15 instructions, right? Because you grab 5 times. That's it. It's all you need. You just grab it 5 times. So it doesn't look nearly as intense around the input as the other period 5 solves that we looked at. And sacrifices absolutely none of the elegance of the back half of the pipeline.
Dewey is asking, was there another 7i drop in the top 50? No.
Oh, no, not even close.
We started at 97 and it's been like
There
I don't
was
know,
a
1,
4
2,
instruction
like-
drop from 86 to 82, and then another 4 instruction drop from Evanov to Rebix. That was it. Okay, so bonding motif bonding motif stays winning, by the way.
Yeah, no, it wasn't 86, 82. It went 86, 85, 84, 82.
Oh, so there wasn't a big drop at all. Okay.
Yeah, no, the big drops happened only in the podium.
Yeah, number 3 to number 2 to number 1 was absolute whiplash. What a... You'll never find the top 3 where the 3 solves look so different from each other. What the hell?
Biggie says she'll be blogging this one. I'm looking forward
Oh,
to
I
it.
hope so, Biggie. I hope so.
The first solution was 44i. That
would have lost to Rebix by 1 instruction.
Yeah.
That would have been tragic. This reminds me actually of how Ebanov's solve handled the bonding. I don't think it's the same exactly, although maybe it is. The bonding motif that Ebanov used in particular, because I do see the 2 golds come to. No, it is different. It is different, I think.
Thank you, everyone, and especially thank you, Biggie.
That solve cured the mental damage I got looking at Rebix's solve.
Okay. I'm going to take a quick break to get water, and then we will do.
That's good to me.
Then we will do period area.
Does that mean I get to yap on mainstream?
Go ahead.
Yes, yap away.
Oh, hell yeah.
Please.
Those top solves were something else, though. Woo! God, that was fun to watch. Yeah, it was like I was watching Rebix's solve. I was blind, and now I can see.
One solve.
There was some
blinded two.
extremely clever routing at the end, though, that I was still not quite 100% on top of. Though it was definitely it was a very particular way to do the bonding motif, but oh, fascinating metric.
RI is great. Constant won RI last time, right?
Yeah. Rebix was the one that made the Crotelium solve that is the current record, but Karzian was the one that actually won the metric.
Rebix asking, do you start a period 3 at 50? Yes. Not gonna soften the blow. I guess maybe I am doing that now. We are
just
away.
rip the band-aid off.
Rip the band-aid off. We are well into period 3 at even.
Send the puzzle to the journal. Boy, do I have some good news for you.
Even need to send it to the journal. The tournament is the tournament puzzles will get their own leaderboard.
Oh no, this
Pages.
particular puzzle you don't need to send it to the journal because like the reverse of this puzzle is already on the journal.
Yeah, but to be fair, the reverse is the reverse. It's not the same.
Oh, don't actually this one. It's the same puzzle.
What does the reverse RI even look like? It's in journal.
Good question.
Where
Don't think I ever actually looked at
reclaimed gold.
what reclaimed gold RI looks like. So you can have period 2, but it has to be a polymer puzzle. Because polymer puzzles, you don't have to use the drop instruction to output it.
Yeah. It's either polymer it's either polymer or it's overlap. Can you do overlap in period 2? Well, you could do it in period 0 if you you just have no instructions. But yeah.
No, I did. Actually, I think I did show off the RI Soul for reclaimed gold. Or
Actually, in
on
reality, everything can be period 0 nowadays. Just use the hot instruction.
so true. I'm very glad that the halt instruction was just nuked for period metric. Like, it's
Oh,
a
yeah,
don't
no.
even think about that instruction situation.
Yeah. Pack is secretly AC, maybe. Yeah, see, we're well into period
84
3.
area.
Okay, I am back and we are ready. So,
Oh, this is the metric where I get to judge people for their instruction choice.
okay, so since I'm starting at number 50, I'm going to have to preemptively apologize to everybody whose approach to PAC was how to organize their waste chain, because you're
Yeah,
going to
we still
have you
have
could
waste chains in top 50.
okay, my mistake then, but most people who are trying to organize waste chains will have to see that on the appreciation stream.
It was not the play, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets you top 50 if you do it well enough, but this is the what people have dubbed the obvious method, is divide gold, turn it into copper, reject a gold and a copper, and you're done.
Yeah.
And
This is the quote-unquote easy method. And the problem
Yeah,
with period 3
logical.
is that handoffs are hard in period 3. You can only do, because if unless you're grabbing every single part of the molecule at the same time, you can't, or or you wand away atoms from an arm grabbing it. You cannot take anything from an arm, or if it's dropped into a consumption glyph. Those are the limitations that period 3 can bring, that you have to work around. But that's 2 consumption glyphs right there in like half of the pipeline, and all you have to do is just assemble it from there. And that's what this solve does. The hands are very sticky, Wing Pearl says. Yeah.
notes for this one say, "Wah!"
I
Oh,
agree.
that's the Wario sound.
Oh, true. Yeah, it does look like a Wario.
Yeah.
The metal glyphs are the face. The triangle track in the front is the nose. The chevron is the book. The chevron track is the book.
Question I have, having not spared a moment's thought to this puzzle, is what do you do about a hex arm that just grab rotate drops? Is that a viable thing at all whatsoever?
Why not?
Rotation is a viable instruction.
All
Yeah.
right. All right.
It's just that you have more freedom with tracks. It's easier to work with.
I'm getting a Zuri port in the chat. Okay.
No, because
I'm
the thing
keen.
with track is that they can be an arbitrary amount of fractional p.
So one motif that is
While
going
arms are stuck to yeah.
one
factors
motif
of
one
6.
motif that is going to come up is a lot of people said, "Oh, this is free space instructions secretly." It's not exactly that, but it does share some ideas.
This is probably going to be a faster metric, by the way, because a lot of these solves will look quite similar, especially at this level. But yeah.
The notes say, I really like the waste management. However, it only works if the main track loop is of a length that is co-primed to 6. Multiple arms on the track loop of arm 3 need to be spaced apart by at least 1. This means that the main track loop is of a length that is not prime. The best length I could get is 17. Unfortunately, 17 is prime, 18 is divisible by 6, 19 is prime, so I was forced to take a 20-length track loop, adding a few hexes of shame. I was so close to shaving those few hexes off, spending more hours on that than getting to 80 area. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it.
For the people who wanted waste chains, well, waste management. Here you go. That's waste management. It uses 2 gold to make each output and disposes of all the other Quicksilver into the projection.
Hell yeah, rotation.
Who needs the glyph
See?
of
There's no
disposal when
waste
you have the
management
glyph of
up here.
projection?
This solve won't run forever, by the way. Those those projections are gonna fill up.
Yeah, won't
Can
be
we
that
all
much
space
longer
this
now.
to see it crash eventually?
Yes.
Oh, there's...
Almost.
Okay, here we go. That's about to crash. Oh, I spoke too soon.
It's gonna
Wow,
output
you
the wrong
shocking
thing,
amount
and
of
then it's
outputs
gonna
before it
crash.
crashes. Oh,
There we
it is.
go.
The next one would have output properly. That's funny. Easton.
Who needs to line up ratios between tracks when you can just have an entire track full of arms?
Also, who cares about saving cost?
True. Go, my piston arms.
Yeah, cost is for nerds.
I assume that the reason the whole arm is filled with the whole track is filled with arms is well, for one, it's to meme. The second reason is probably because to align the ratios between that track and the other 2 tracks.
Moms.
But mostly it's for the meme.
It's mostly for the meme.
I wasn't expecting to see a pivot, but I'm glad I have.
Thank you, Sockboy.
This is how the money was laundered to commit the tax fraud.
The Pistons were tax write-offs.
It's a business expense, yeah. Waste
Ooh.
chaining to reduce area. That's such a crazy concept. Rotation arm. Ah, it's a 2 wide waste chain.
Oh, nice. That's what a handoff looks like. For anyone wondering what a period 3 handoff looks like, there it is, right at the output.
Yeah, it's wanding.
PI energy about this solve, despite the tracks.
Because it's Quicksilver waste chain handling, there are no consumption glyphs. These are just glyphs of projection and bonding.
Mm-hmm. So even the output is doing wanding. It's just you don't really think of it as wanding much. This does not have purification. This is more waste. Amazing. It's doing 1 lead and 1 quicksilver instead. Nope, it's doing 10. It's doing 10 by rejection blocking. Wanding is when you move atoms by bonding and then debonding them instead of grab dropping them. It saves a cycle in the transfer, and that's what allows the transfer in period 3. It means you waste no cycles transferring an atom being controlled by this arm to an atom being controlled by another arm. Oh, it looks like a cat.
The notes say, after optimizing this as best I could, I realized I could also optimize for looks without sacrificing metrics. That's rare. If I am correct, then a lot of the fundamental layout for this puzzle is more or less forced, and we'll be seeing a big pileup on the secondary and possibly some outright ties. I look forward to being proven wrong.
That's those
Deck.
projections cost the same per area as much as calcification do. People are meowing in the chat. Mr. Royal Spade is flexing that he subscribed to me.
Mm-hmm.
Gooey says, Kazian, could you skip myself, please?
Oh, is it cursed?
Is it coming up? Oh, it is.
Well, if you say so. Okay, skipping GUI's solution.
Spiritual Shampoo hates this one weird trick to get your soul off stream.
Oh, this is doing disposal via turning gold into copper. By turning gold into copper, it fits 2 more quicksilver.
Oh, what? Look, it's disposing.
Disposal at home.
So you notice that gold can turn into copper, but...
The notes say, turning half the gold into copper with no waste is definitely a good financial decision. There's no way putting ARM 6 on its own track loop is optimal, but I couldn't figure out a way to fit it into another track without it going to at least 3 empty hexes.
Hey, it doesn't spend more area. And thus ARM 3 and 4 are routed around ARM 6.
The notes say, this is by far the more fun metric of the two this week. The programming is so simple that a full redesign is not at all daunting, so I went through 4 or 5 of those, then one by one saved 6 more points of area. Realizing that the arm responsible for Quicksilver could actually let go of it saved another 4 before I had that arm carry the product to the output alongside the hex arm. I think this is a very solid solution, but at the same time it feels like the top solves will be twice as small. Let's see. We have a prediction.
Just using the gold copper output method again.
Hmm.
Good metallurgy here. Yeah, this is the clean metallurgy solve. The clean
Yeah, so
metallurgy
this isn't
method.
this isn't. I wouldn't describe this as disposal at home. It is wasting metallurgy, but not really in a absorb the quicksilver sense. Just
Yeah.
in a reducing the amount of metallicity on the board makes it line up with the input better or the output better.
I don't think we'll be seeing any full metallicity solves here.
No. Kind of cool that each metric explores completely different metallurgy strategies.
Let's say this has been my favorite puzzle so far. I unfortunately have to stop working on it since I am about to go away. Managed to shave off about 40 area in the last hour of working on this though, so I'm pretty happy. I can see there's definitely a way to get that large track loop down to 12 instead of 18, but I just don't have the time to find it. Hoping this at least places well.
This projects the copper and rejects the gold twice.
Intriguing.
No, thrice. Interesting.
So this is a very this is just a clean 2 inputs to 1 output, which you can do if you're deliberately wasteful with the metallurgy, which is projecting, which is the purifying iron step. But that's the part that loses 2 metallurgy. Because otherwise you'd have too many metallurgy. So metallicity, I should say.
Yeah. Brother Mojo said that he had a full metallicity wasteless solve. I think that's I don't know if we'll actually see any on the appreciation stream, but I doubt we'll see any on this stream.
Nah, yeah. I mean, doing like grabbing 5 outputs and turning into 5 inputs and turning into 3 outputs sounds intense.
It does, yeah.
Different squiggle shapes. Funny, funny. There are no notes.
That is an interesting route, those atoms go.
That big squiggle track seems like the basis of this solve, and every other arm is kind of designed to assist the main squiggly track arms in
That
their
copper
job of
goes
turning
1.5
input to output.
loop before it gets bonded. Oof, yeah, arm 4 hits a bit more area.
Arm 3 hits.
Arm 5,
5
arm
hexes of
3
area.
also hits like extra area too.
So, how to area optimize this? Smaller
Less track.
squiggly track, less glyph. I'm just spitballing here. I don't know the answer.
I don't know. That solve didn't have much glyph in the first place.
This solve has slightly less glyph.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, in my, from what I've seen, less squiggly track. I'm going to
take up a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to say something really stupid here, but it's true. Every hex of track takes up a hex.
So true.
If you think about it, if you're running hex arms on them, they take up more than that.
Yeah. The notes say, "Can you tell I'm a 3i main?" Yeah.
Oh, it shows.
Yeah, this looks like it's It increases on the tertiary by having 2 arms on that track.
Also, cute moment here when the copper gets demoted, the silver that comes after it actually occupies that same hex on the rejection glyph, but the quicksilver is already there, so it suppresses the glyph.
Nice.
Rejection of suppression is going to be a theme that I think will come up a lot in the future. Because sometimes that glyph just rejects when you don't want it to.
We went straight from 6-9 to 6-7. Funny number alert.
Another way to improve your area is to not have hex arms. Blasphemous, I know. No hex arms. Because hex arms sweep a lot of area.
Instruction solve with like a chorus of arms doing the can at the top.
Yeah, this is what I mentioned earlier. You don't need the ratios to line up, but you just fill the entire track loop with arms. Everything lines up. Everything has a factor of 1 in it. Every number has a factor. Every integer has a factor of 1 in it.
Australia track.
The length of the
That's
loop
not bad,
is
It
20.
does look like Australia, actually.
Okay. Moving on. We are still at 6-7.
A tertiary
Tasmania
track.
not being part of the track loop is lore accurate, by the way.
Holy hex. Holy
That's-
3-length arm. What?
Yo, that's not very area optimization of you.
That is bold.
Why is it there? It hasn't done anything yet. Oh.
It's
The
to
audacity to use is impressive.
The audacity to use a rotating 3-length arm. I guess it's like most. It doesn't actually even use that much more area.
In its defense, it is in the absolute dead center of the solution.
Yeah. It like sweeps an extra 5 area, I think, actually. Only on the left.
How many?
No,
I don't
6.
know the answer to this off the top of my head. How many hexes of area does a length 3 swinging multi-arm like take up all by itself? I'm willing to bet it's like 50 something.
It doesn't even have to be a multi-arm as long as you do
Like
a
it's
full
probably
rotation.
like actually we can just find out. How much?
55.
So only 12 hexes are not covered by that. That's hilarious.
Oh,
Thank you for this.
huh. Yeah. It only increases 5 area to the like 6 area to the solve, actually, which is pretty impressive. Wow, that looks like
We're still at 6-7, by the way. The notes say, certainly not me. This puzzle is peak. Waste chain.
a length 2 multi-arm. How conservative of you.
So it turns out you can score top 50 by having a giant waist chain. But if you just make the rest of the solution small enough.
Very nice.
Truly unserious tournament solves.
Yeah, this is so good by Galaxy's solution.
Shadow Cluster. Hi, Shadow Cluster. Oh, Shadow Cluster is boring. But I do like how the Hex Arm does part of the handle. Hex Arm on a track loop does part of the handling for the
I
metallicity
do
reducing.
concur that track loop is a rather ugly shape.
Well, Light Levels is asking, is there only 37 placers? There are far more than that,
No.
but my parser that is in charge of populating the list in the upper left corner crashes sometimes.
You can select all the solutions up until this point and press F11 if you want to populate it. But
Okay. Okay, there we go.
yeah. We're also only showing top 50 this stream. The rest are being shown tomorrow. There's actually 100 or so submitters. There's like 109 submitters.
There are a lot.
Yeah.
Let's keep moving.
112, holy shit. This is still Shadow Cluster solve.
Yeah, figuring it out.
It would be funny if we did that and the parser just broke again.
And it did break again.
Ah well, you saw the list of past submitters for a moment.
Okay. The notes say, I also tried wasteless layouts, but could only get those down to 79 area. Looking forward to see which ideas I missed and how low the true wizards can push it.
Ooh,
So here's the waste handling.
more wasteful solves. Yeah. Oh, that's an interesting way to handle waste. We're dividing silver and disposing of the tin. And tin is a smaller atoms. Tin is easier to handle with because all you have to do is purify it.
It works.
That's a really clean way to just get 2 metallicity in a single atom as waste.
Yeah, really great use of how the glyph division has a top side and a bottom side.
Mm-hmm. Is Zorflex still here with us, by the way?
I'm still here.
The yapper isn't yapping. What happened? I assume it's
Couple
getting
flight
late for
hours.
you, though.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
distracted by other things.
I see, I see.
A retract? Is that actually used?
Oh, this is the reducing metallicity to as waste again.
Oh, disposal at home.
Yeah, this is disposal at home again. I'm surprised we're seeing so many waste management solves.
Correct. It is 10 to 3 a.m. where I am.
The notes say, turns out that evasion thing works well. I wonder where all of this quicksilver goes, though. Surely it will go unnoticed. I don't see how this can be improved, but surely I won't get first place, so yeah, let's see how Reb does it. Prediction. 7 hexes still don't have arms or useful glyphs on them. Okay. There are no notes. This is waste management. So this,
Oh no.
yeah, these waste irons do give off a quicksilver, but it's interesting that because the metals in the line are different after only one of them does a rejection, the glyph of purification um does not fire until later than you'd expect. Like,
That just gave me purified gold TI flashbacks.
yeah, like check this. These are 2 different metals, so glyph of purification has nothing to do.
Also, it crashed like right after outputting the 12th one, so this idea barely worked.
Okay. The notes say, it's insane how much time I spent approaching this puzzle in the wrong way. My first question was genuinely whether it was more space efficient to store 24 Quicksilver or to get 12 Quicksilver from a grab plus rotate arm holding 3 gold. Once I took off the DRM horse blinders, I was able to find this motif pretty quickly. Even though the build order is the same as my first PAC solve, it took an unreasonable amount of effort to get to 61 area. There's still a bit of solution space I didn't explore, but I'm very proud of how far I pushed this idea. Yep, looks great.
Amusingly, both hex arms have 1 gold on the bottom left that just never does anything ever.
Yep, very free space instructions style of you occupying a gripper, but it's completely fine.
But yeah, less smaller track loop than previous solves, so it is tending in that direction.
The notes say, I really enjoy the ending and the unused Critelli. Somehow this stuff that cycles every 8 beat out all my attempts cycling on 6 or 12, but I'm sure that that's the saner way to do this one.
Critelli of the week?
I don't know.
It's pretty hard to get It's pretty hard to figure out criteria. Like, there's like so many gaps in all these solutions.
The notes say, I just can't stop doing tax fraud. I tried a bunch of things to get multiple atoms being manipulated by the same track, and with this layout, it just sort of fell into place. Even 5 days before the results stream, I can tell the 60 to 80 area pileup will be massive, so I just hope I fall on the lower side of it. And then a bunch of cat noises.
Hex arm spotted.
Hex arm detected.
Although I'm pretty sure that would be less area if it were arm on a track, maybe? Depends on how long the track would have to be. I don't know the period. 3 arms on a track. 3 arms on 3 tracks. No, the arm 2 and 3 from the top loop cover that extra area, so yeah.
Remember, chat, you never rely on a pile up.
Remember, the pileup always happens after your solution.
5-7. 5-7. Insert hand motion here. This was wasteful again.
We're seeing a lot of the. There are only so many ways to do waste management, so we're seeing iterations on that idea with incrementally better assembly of the complete output.
Okay, the bonders
Iron
and debonders are
disposal.
just there to meme.
Yeah, it just bonds and debonds for no reason.
You don't have to. The cost doesn't matter in this metric, so go off.
I enjoy how people
It
are
also
memeing with the
counts
glyphs.
Yeah, I love it.
MVP glyph right here.
You so rarely get free cost.
Honestly, all those like 3-length arms, they should all be pistons as well. This looks almost identical to Joseph's solve.
Same.
It's not, but it sure does look very similar.
No, this is different. Yeah.
It is different, I know. Yeah. No, I saw this while I was looking through the solutions earlier in the week, and I was like, did a double take? Am I looking at the same solution? And
Yeah.
there was no dark brick between them when I was looking at them before.
The notes say, I spent the whole week convinced that shoving all the output arms onto one track must be optimal for area, but I didn't manage to find a setup that was better than this.
Clean.
Yeah, if you want to try to put a bunch of arms onto one track, they are all locked into the same movement sequence, basically. So it gets tricky, especially when one atom is way over there and another is not, because then you have to like use different lengths and stuff, and it becomes a mess.
Yeah, but like I do like how when there are arms on the same track loop that do different things. Like you can see that the top 2 track loops have 2 sets of have sets of arms. And each arm is doing a different thing, grabbing onto a different atom.
Yeah. You have constraints, but you do have options. Okay, so this is another set of meta notes. I'm gonna read it anyway. Fine. The notes simply read, meow. I suppose the solution speaks for itself, or I guess meows for itself. Before we move on to the next solution, I do feel inspired by Golden Boy's notes, so give me a second to make some comments. Meow meow, meow meow meow, meow meow, meow meow, meow meow meow. I, Casian, sure do love meowing. End of notes.
Asian. Is that how we're supposed to pronounce your name now?
I mean, that's how I have always pronounced it, but I
It
respond.
has been? Oh no.
I respond to the other pronunciation. It's basically native anyway. That's how everyone reads it.
Oh no. We've been pronouncing your name wrong this whole time. Oh.
Wait, how's it meant to be pronounced?
He
Like-
pronounced his own name Kasian.
We've been saying Kazian this whole time.
Because
And you've never corrected us.
because I don't actually care.
Oh, that. Oh, the mental damage is not. It's still there. It's still there.
We've been hit with the blinding
See, and this is why I don't read the meta notes.
Oh.
If you make the top 50 stream, you get to make Kazi on Meow. If you make the bottom 50, if you make the geriatric stream, you get to make me Meow.
All right.
Okay. The notes say 2 blinding stew metrics this week. It is what it is for a new player like me. I made this solution in like 15 minutes, so I'm not expecting too much. Okay.
Yay. It's pretty good for 15 minutes.
I love how they're all pistons. None of them are pistoning, but I love how they're all pistons.
Okay, I'm gonna continue.
Yeah, there's that. Red.
Minus instructions. I'll say that much for that previous solve. Love to see it. Haven't been seeing it enough.
Is this how you play Pac-Man? Ooh, this is a very streamlined assembly line style solve.
The notes say, is period 2 only possible for some polymers? Regular products need to be dropped off, so their min period has to be 3, right? Yeah, that's all accurate.
Yes, Squeezo asked me this during the week, and I respond to him in DMs Azuri Paul.
Yeah.
So it makes sense if they're still wondering at the point of submission.
Yeah.
There really, I guess there's not much like you can do with like reducing glyphs, and like the movements are already like pretty tight. Like it's only going over 1 multi-bonder and a few equilibrium glyphs.
Yeah.
So it really is just trying to minimize the amount of track, it appears.
Yeah, and this is also only 3 cycles faster. The only difference between this solve and the previous one in terms of metrics is 3 cycles.
Jeez.
Real. The notes say 1/6 P allows both 3 tracks and 2 arms on 4 tracks, which helps shaving areas. Arm 8's track can't be 4 track because using Fratelli hex causes a bad grab of silver on the empty hex. Yeah, sure, those were some words and numbers.
Yeah, Hacks making the point that there is really no metric in the past that looks anything like this metric whatsoever.
The notes say, still didn't have as much time as I'd have liked for this one, but I'm reasonably happy with how it turned out. Piston arms for flavor.
Okay, but why are only some of them pistons?
I don't know best.
Those pistons were the ones committing tax fraud.
So one observation I have is that for a bunch of solutions that slap everything together on a multi-bonder and then cart it away to the output, a lot of them have had to move 4 arms at the same time, which takes up more area, which can take up more area because they're all moving along the tracks in that direction. Here, only one of the arms is doing that. The others can resume doing whatever it was they were doing previously.
Yeah, I like this particular bonding better than the previous solves.
The notes say, I had a really pretty solution for 4p, but then I figured out that 3p is possible, so I made this abomination. In all seriousness, though, it was a fun metric, colon 3. I even figured out some weird tech with moving off a bonder at the right timing. I did manage to shave off 14 area on the last evening, so now I'm even less confident in my solution. I might be late for stream, so if I'm not in chat, would it be possible to DM me what place I got when my result comes up?
I'm
Lily was
pretty sure
here,
I saw
right?
her in chat earlier.
Yeah, she was here earlier asking what wanding is, and then she
Yeah.
has wanding in her solution.
Yep, you're here. Yay. Better than your 37.
Yeah, no, top 20. Nice.
37,
great.
37, hand motion.
3-7.
Okay. This one doesn't have any notes.
Triangle.
Oh, I love that center arm. It's a
Ooh.
length to rotating arm. Look at it go.
Wow. Jeez, you can get away with those rotations in a top 20 solve.
I love it.
That does everything, though.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Cali Reese's solve in the 2023 tournament for Pig. For the period metric.
Oh, in the cabinet.
Yeah, in the cabinet. But that's the only other period metric we've seen so far, right? Period primary.
That triangle at the bottom is also peak track shape.
Mm-hmm.
No area drop, just spices fast.
It's outputting every 9 cycles. Or every 3 period.
Yeah. Below 200s is a pretty common cycle count. And
Yeah,
so,
this is fast.
so factors of it are likely to win on cycles. B Jonas is asking, does that actually need to be a hex arm? It can be a bi arm. Let's move on.
Biarm would have won style points.
Ooh. Oh, I like Cali
Shamble.
Reese's solve.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think we've seen Spiritual Shampoo solve yet. Shambles indeed.
It's wasteful. It's doing waste. It's not that
Oh.
Caloresis didn't find a wasteless method. He did, I'm pretty sure. He just this was just better for him.
Yeah, this is very good for
Wow, this
waste.
is cool.
Yeah.
Just use waste as a yeah.
Yeah, it
Caloresis just
generates.
has extra Quicksilver inputs.
Yeah, it just generates barely enough Quicksilver.
To B. Jonas's question about the halt instruction, it's completely banned from this puzzle because
Well, this
the,
metric.
this metric, because if you if you were allowed to use a halt instruction for an initialization arm, what you could just do is have that one arm solve the entire puzzle, and then not place anything else. So your period would be
But
zero.
yeah, outside of this puzzle, it does allow you to have initialization instructions for an arm no, for an arm before the periodic instruction. Yeah, no, it doesn't. It just you can have, it makes you able to have what, like, initialization arms, but you can't make an arm you want to loop later have initialization, yeah?
Yeah, here's what
You know what would
happens
be
when you have the halt instruction. It just everything else runs on its own period.
Yeah. B. Jonas isn't asking, like, why is it banned? B. Jonas is asking, like, how does the halt instruction work?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no start for loop instruction. No, there isn't. But this is good enough, I guess.
big maybe. I'll just say that. Word maybe he's doing a lot of work there.
I don't know. I feel like it's just not really in the Zachtronic spirit to have something in the Opus Magnum spirit to have something like that. Yeah, even just the halt is already pretty strong. I agree.
Yeah. So this solution is doing the, I think you were calling it the obvious method, and it's just doing
I
doing
remember
it
someone
cleanly.
saying that in the notes, like, once upon a time in maybe their, like, obsolete notes. I think it was Caloresis obsolete notes calling it the obvious method, so that's what I've just been calling it since.
Okay. And yeah, it just does it
We've also
cleanly.
been calling it, yeah, we've also been calling it metallicity reduction.
Callie Races did just barely get beaten by Shampoo, so shambles indeed.
Creative embezzlement.
Triangle.
Triangle. Zorfax. Are you
No,
really Zorfax? Who replaced you?
no. The small one is a tringle. The big
Oh,
one is
true.
triangle.
True.
The notes say optimizing a P3 solution for area turns out to be pretty addictive. Early on, I had a rotation-based solution using big multi-arms, which was fairly compacted around 70 area, but a lot of space was wasted from length 3 swings. A translation-based design allows the glyphs to be placed closer together. The challenge is then trying to minimize the number of tracks required and sharing track loops if possible. There is also the option of doing it free space eye style with a single long track loop, but I don't see it being a better approach.
Interesting that Callie Reeses mentioned underestimating how bad rotation is, because I guess like when I mentioned it way back at 50th place, it was also a bit of like that was my first question and the same direction my brain went in. Also, what is this?
It's the doohickey.
I mean,
The doohickey.
you're still. I wouldn't say that there's there's still rotations here. We're
Yeah, there
still
is.
seeing rotations. They're not gone yet. Also, what the hell is Arm 10 doing?
Partying.
But why does... Oh, right, because because there's a single arm that, like, goes over it. It's a party-only arm. I love how it pivots, too.
And the thing about rotating arms is that they are trackless by definition, so it is a matter of geometry whether you can slide them in like this, like
Yeah.
conveniently into the machinery, into the glyph space and the atom swing space, and how much track you need to, cover the rest of it. So it is an interesting trade-off, actually.
There's also the track with no arms on it in the middle. It ends up just with a iron waste, initialization waste in it. Yeah, look, I would say we're actually seeing more rotating arms in the top solutions than we are in the any solve before, like the solves before these. No more
Well, it's
rotating
definitely
vectory
direction to.
arms, though. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, once you the smaller your track loops get, and the less track you use, the more like a rotating arm in the middle of everything really only eats up the hex that it's on and nothing else.
Well, I mean, some of them swing over extra empty space, but like you want to try to reduce that.
Yeah.
The notes say, well, this was a doozy of a metric. It's kind of fun when you have metrics that require a very specific tech to get min primary. I don't know if it has a name, so we'll call it bond transfer. Funny how I use this for both metrics, and both my solves have a similar concept behind the optimization. Quite happy with how this turned out, and I'm very confident this will place good. It was fun to get down from 450 area to 46. There is a lot of area reuse. For example, arms 1, 2, and 8 basically come for free since they only move over glyphs, and arm 3 shares the area of the track with arm 8, also using piston arms and linear tracks as a pseudo-halt, was the revelation that brought the area down so much. Also, using conditional purification of the iron to copper allowed me to shave a bit more area, since Arm 10 fully extends and would collide with Arm 13. But yeah, I cannot see how you could squeeze even more area out of this solve.
This is an impressive week for MK tests.
Two purification glyphs for waste management.
Oh, we're seeing waste management at 12. Amazing.
We sure are. We're done.
Waste management. Sorry, you go.
I had nothing to say but that we're done.
Oh, okay. We can move on.
We've been on
Oh, we're back to tracks.
46 area for a while. The notes say, I chose the way of the track. I wonder if rotations have any merit to them.
Yeah, this is track arms only.
Yeah, no rotation. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah, it is an interesting question, the rotation question, because at the moment, outside the top 10, both methods seem to be pretty viable.
Top 10 time. This is almost all rotation.
Oh, way in the other direction.
The notes say, I think tri-bonder only gets you so far. Multiple bonder with better sequencing may work without the track loop for smaller area, but not much, unless there's a better recipe. Makes it look very straightforward.
Yeah, wow, this makes the puzzle look easy. Or the metric itself look easy.
You just put the metals together and then output it. I don't know what the problem is.
Just rotate it, duh. Get rotated, idiot.
Real. Okay. There are no notes.
Mostly track with just output rotation.
Seems like track is good for some things and rotation is good for the other, so that's why we're seeing like combinations of them rather than like adherence to one ideology.
Speaking of adherence to one ideology, there's been way too many plus instructions. What is this?
I know, right?
I've been muted. Hello.
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 I went to use the restroom real quick. I think I only missed like 2 solutions.
Yeah, not very many. I think the... Hold on.
Pass a jank.
Okay, there we go.
Mr. Puzzle.
A
Goodbye,
drop of
Galaxy
5
Cell, looks like.
cycles.
Woo. Okay, so same, just the output rotate. Otherwise,
Yeah,
it is
except the
still...
output rotates has its the rotation it covers sweep over the track.
That's pretty nice. Hmm.
Very good
Oh, there's
performance by
been
Mr.
two...
Puzzle.
Oh yeah, this is clean.
Even smaller drops,
Wow, was
3
that
cycles.
a recycled drop?
Surfing writes, tried to double the rate by adding more arms on the 6 long tracks and making the rotating arms double arms, but could not make it work. For what it's worth, Zerfink, it would not have mattered.
Hmm.
We have been seeing this big triangle a few times now. A,
Oh yeah,
a division butted up against a purification.
it's been really it's really convenient.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really convenient
It's an
way to place those
extremely
glyphs.
natural combo, not just for this metric, but for most every metric that you need to use that glyph combo.
Yeah. Damn, this is a good week for Biggie. Also, what the hell is that track? Loop.
Whoa.
I mean, I've talked about how, like, if you just fill your arms, track loop with arms, it can work with any ratio, so I guess it's that.
Sure is.
I
The
paid for the
notes,
whole track loop. I'm gonna use the whole track loop.
the notes say if you squint, that 8 kind of looks like a 3. That's nice. Defied my own rule that all tracks have to have a multiple of 3 segments by making an 8 track with arms on every single tile. Slightly miraculous that it doesn't cause any problems, and it saved a couple area. Yeah, that couple of area definitely mattered. Biggie was predicting in the Discord chat at one point double podium, and if not humbled too much, maybe something would come out of that. Uh, I wouldn't call this humbled, but it is not on the podium. So there you go. That being
Pretty
said,
close
Still
though.
pretty
Yeah.
darn great, yeah.
that being said, the other solution was number 1, so definitely makes up for this.
Is first plus 6 more points than third? I don't know. How much is
Don't know.
third?
Like
I'll
18
check
points.
first.
Yeah, I think first 6 is worth more points. Off the top of my head, I couldn't. That's not an exact answer.
Yeah, it. First 6 is 18.571. Third is
This is a big drop.
18.75. So third is still better.
Okay. Yeah, we just dropped like, what was it, 3 hexes?
Yes.
That's a big drop in this in this day and age.
The notes say
Also, that's a. Oh, you go first.
The notes say, okay, so when is someone using quantum bonds on a polymer output to make a very non-trivial period 2 puzzle? I'm not going to be using quantum bonds in this tournament, sorry. Anyway, honestly, having never once solved for a period before, this feels pretty good. Rotations instead of tracks allows for only one tile used for a large amount of work done, and ARM 5 in particular is definitely pulling its weight. ARM 2 uses tracks since otherwise the arm swing would cover an extra tile, and ARM 1's job is only completable by a static arm when in a position that gets hit in the final swing. Overall, I'd say this gets quite good value from the space it uses, although the final swing seems like it could be a bit better if geometry allowed.
I guess the rotation's making a comeback in a big way here. Dropped another hex.
Yep. Rotations and tracks can coexist in harmony. It can be done.
Revics are still here. In the chat.
Congratulations, you know.
This is actually identical to a past solve of Revix's.
Okay, let's move on to the podium. Zanuck has been excited in the Twitch chat.
Congrats on the podium finish, Zanuck. Well done.
I like this motif of the division and the purification. It's funny how we are just talking about how the triangle method of placing the glyphs is a good idea. Now we're just seeing something entirely different up here on the podium.
Yeah, this also looks like a good idea too. Arm 3 gets like quite a lot accomplished with its rotations. It purifies, it rejects, and it bonds.
Congratulations on the podium, Zanuck. The notes say, fun metric. This one's area is exactly half of my initial attempt.
Impressive.
Yeah, Arm 3's my MVP for this solve.
We drop just a few cycles.
Oh. Wow, second place both metrics.
Second place post metrics, and I don't think it's even Repix's best performing week.
Jesus. Imagine having a week as good as Biggie just had, and you still got beaten by Rebix overall on points.
Yeah, last week Rebix was first and second.
Okay, so once again that Arm 2-3 glyph combo, the division purification, that's like that there's a bit of a secret sauce glyph combo there. If I
I
do
was
say
gonna
so
say
myself.
it's sort of secret sauce.
Yeah. Arm 3 purifies rejects and bonds.
And now, for number one.
Fine. Finally in first. We have the winner of last year's tournament.
Defending champion.
The notes say, I spent way too much time on the pack pit, neglecting RI, but I started getting diminishing returns. By the looks of this solve, less is definitely possible, the top right track loop is probably unnecessary, and there is unused space due to the output swing. But hey, it won!
This solve takes great advantage of how skinny the glyph of division is by nestling both track loops right on either side of it.
I also love how they're just the bottom loop is just so jam-packed full of arms, and they all do something different.
Yeah, that's a good shout, actually.
The chat is observing the input suppression.
Oh yeah, that's great too.
That is clean input suppression.
What the input suppression really does is that it means that you can have the same track loop deal with the silver and the quicksilver at the same time.
Yeah, that bottom track loop.
The bottom track loop is the MVP of the solution.
Track loop of the week.
Track loop of the week, true.
Yeah, this wasn't a good week for pivots, so track loop of the week it is.
And with that, I'm gonna be copy pasting the scores into the actual spreadsheet.
Congratulations, Sergi D.
There's something hypnotizing about that bottom track loop. God, that sequence, God, the sequencing on that track loop must have been an absolute right pain in the ass to get off the ground. I don't see how Arm 5 can be a rotating arm, no.
Yeah, it has to get an atom from the right side of the glyph of division to the top port of the glyph of purification. Rotation is not an option.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to load up the showcases.
All right, that might be it for me. It is 3:30 in the morning, so
Yep, go to bed.
I ought to
Yeah,
call
that's fair.
it. Way past my bedtime. All right, it was cool. It was fun finally getting to do one of these mainstreams. Thanks for having
Yeah.
me.
Will we be seeing you tomorrow?
Yes, you will be seeing me tomorrow.
Same time? Hell yeah. Alright, see ya, Zorflex.
See ya.
This might be about where I would be heading off to, though, because it's also late for me.
Yep, no worries.
Was a good stream.
Okay,
It was
bye-bye.
fun. I'm surprised you did a rate first, though, because you usually do the metric with the more samey solutions on top first.
Yeah, oh
Just
well.
really excited about rate. Yeah. It was still a good stream, though.
Mm-hmm. Not quite done yet. I'm gonna show off these
Mhm.
showcases.
Yeah. But alright, y'all have fun with the showcases. I'll see you all tomorrow, one hour after when this stream started for the appreciation stream. But until then, see y'all.
Okay. This one is by Greenfield. This one is by Joseph. The notes say, I had to look at this 2:30 a.m. sleep deprivation solution, so you get to as well. Take special note of the purification-based Quicksilver disposal, which has two sets of arms, one of which is only used to initially set up the disposal by dragging a gold down there to handle the first disposed of Quicksilver in particular. Yep, this is one of the waste management methods we saw in pack. This one is by Random Guest. One of the key components is tax fraud is shell companies used to hide or obfuscate the transfer of funds. In this case, the funds are sent through surrender flare industries to disguise the transmutation of amalgam from pure gold. Something tells me the extreme reactiveness of the flares may end up causing the whole plan to go up in smoke. Or maybe it'll be the forged stickers peeling a bit too easily off the package. This one is by Zudmud. The notes say, I wanted some sort of rotational symmetry. It fell when dropping off the product, but I still like how it came out. This one is by Mr. Royal Spade. This is struggling with RI. The Transformer. This one is by Minerman 60101. The notes say, just a fun little cost solve. Nice that there was a single arm trackless solution 2 weeks in a row. Yep. This one's by Mika. The notes say, tried out the slappy stick, but it was worse. Can't do shit to single atoms without arms, and there are a lot of them thanks to all the quicksilver. A lot like spiritual shampoo's big old brick. This one is by Fallen Healer. The notes say, legitimately upset I found a period 3 solution. This one was beautiful. This one is by Dark Brick. Don't say, huh? Reclaimed gold? What do you mean reclaimed gold? Let's get you to bed, Grandma. So this solution would solve if the output was the input and vice versa. This one is by No Longer Breathe In. The notes say, I am so glad that merge.html still works for this. No, no Longer Breathe In makes a lot of these solutions period 4 min rate. This one is by Zanuck. The notes are okay. I'm sorry, but it's just talking about RI pipelines, and I'm a little fatigued on that. So you'll just have to take my word for it that it's some informative explanation of how 3 different coexisting pipelines work with Quicksilver and stuff. This one is by Kushwan Liu, who writes, it's easy to make a single arm solve, and I just made it before finish, Lamau. And that was week 5. On to week 6. See you guys next week.